Isaiah 57, verse 15. The high and lofty one who inhabits eternity, the Holy One, says this: I live in that high and holy place with those whose spirits are contrite and humble. I refresh the humble and give new courage to those with repentant hearts. Wow. This is Isaiah. And Isaiah had a vision of God that enabled him to live in a terrible place, like you do and I do. His vision of God on high enabled him to live, you might say, on low. Because the world looks pretty bad. Do you not think so? And it did look bad when Isaiah was writing and responding to the living God. And people, when things go wrong, often respond with suspicion about God's character. You know, why did God allow this to happen? Is religion worth it? Is Christianity worth it? This is Isaiah's answer. And he vindicates God's character by saying he is the high and lofty one. He inhabits eternity. He is different to us. He sees it differently. And he encourages those who are feeling downtrodden into a perseverance that, by reminding them that their real dignity is something different from their apparent success or failure. God dwells with the one who is of contrite and humble spirit. So you've got two things going on at the same time. He's talking about the greatness of God, and at the same time he's talking about the greatness of humans and how they run together. And the greatness of God is obvious according to Isaiah. He's saying it's the greatness of eternity. Can you really comprehend what that means to be eternal, to stand outside time? Even if you just look into the sky one time, it kind of humbles you, doesn't it? When you consider, the world is like an apple floating silently in space. You look into the reaches of space and it cuts you down to size. It lifts you beyond the narrow range of your own ability to speculate. And you're lifted up just by thinking about it, by looking at the sea, looking at the grains of sand on a shore. They're sort of pictures of something that is incalculable. Are you with me? We can't grasp eternity, but we can learn something of it by seeing that whatever moment we live in, God is beyond. God is more than that. God is vaster than the vastest. And don't just think of space, think of time itself. Time stretches back into an illimitable distance behind us and in front of us. And we're just this little speck in the middle. I was reading about an archaeological investigation in Afghanistan, and they found the remains of this city, and they didn't know what civilization it belonged to. They knew it was older. They calculated that it was some tens of thousands of inhabitants, and it had a sewage system, but they didn't know what civilization it belonged to. Isn't that incredible? So there's a civilization tucked there, and we don't know anything about it. Isn't that incredible? Time just stretches on. You feel dizzy and bewildered by the sense of the greatness of space and the greatness of time. And as Isaiah is saying, God lives there. God lives there. The high and lofty one. And it fills you with strange new thoughts, that every possible idea that I have or conceive is present with him. He says, my thoughts are not your thoughts, but I formed you. I created you. You are my creation. And God's dwelling place is an eternity that doesn't have a past or a future, but one vast, immeasurable now. I find that thrilling. It's the greatness of time, the greatness of space. When Yuri Gagarin went into orbit around the Earth for the first time in the early 60s, he said, I didn't see your God up there, and he said it in a Russian accent. Well, you didn't think you would, did you? The greatness of God, it's awe-inspiring. And it's not just that as far as Isaiah was concerned, it's the greatness of character. He is the Holy One. And when we look into our hearts, we just see all these gusts and strands of unpleasant thoughts. All right, it might just be me. We have all this kind of stuff going on, little stray strands of gossip and anxiety and worry and spitefulness and mean-spiritedness. And he's saying he is the high and lofty one. He inhabits eternity and he is holy. And that's a kind of strange mixture of justice and love and perfection and innate goodness. And what Isaiah is doing is he is coming to terms with where he is in the light of where God is. So let's just leave it there with this thought. And then maybe on another occasion we'll take it back and start to look at what the greatness of man is, what the greatness of human beings are within the perspective of the glory of God. Amen. God bless you.